and they are actually from Saudi Aramco. The two gentlemen are both experts in change management and communication consultants, Mustaq Raymond and Muhammad Tayyab. So who comes first? Mustaq comes first. Okay.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and very good morning to you.
Good morning.
How are you all today? I'm glad I got the session before lunch. So after lunch, I have no hope. Okay, by show of hands, how many of you are responsible for managing change in your organization? Dare I say that each and every one of you is? Because from the moment you wake up in the morning, go to work, to the time you leave, hopefully you make some changes. Or you send some important emails to your boss, you were part of a meeting where some important decisions were made, your work helped somebody else to do their work, etc. Well, even the guy who did not do any work, even he or she, he increased the hit rate of your social media network sites or drank all your coffee. Now, on a serious note, the point is that change is constant. Change will happen with or without you. But progress is optional. Progress is optional. And that's where change management comes in. Because it takes you to where you want to go and shows you the way, gives you structure and techniques to deliver what you're trying to deliver. But to make the change for change management in Middle East and to show you how change management is done, may I introduce my colleague and dear friend, Muhammad Tayyab. Take it away.
Thank you, Mustaq. Let me then take the topic further. A couple of things before we talk about the topic really. And I think David showed on one of his slides. When he showed the slide concerning HR activities, interventions, complexity versus value add, change management really appeared at the very top. In other words, it's complex, but it adds lots of value. And that's one thing we got to keep in mind. Second thing, change management, when we talk about change management, really, we are talking about organizational change management. We are talking about changes involving people, whether they accept or embrace the change or resist and reject the change. To cover this topic in more detail, basically what we are going to do is answer 4 basic questions. Why change management is needed, how to go about making a change, what exactly we are going to change, and what can happen when we successfully manage a change. This is the crux of our presentation, ladies and gentlemen, today, to answer these questions through this presentation. And by using these 4 questions, what we are trying to do is to build a case for managing changes in the fast-changing environment of the Middle East. I will share this cartoon with you. Give you 10 seconds to read what this gentleman is saying here. Right. So whatever we have been doing for the last 25 odd years, I mean, it's true of any region really, but since our focus is Middle East, it re-emphasizes the fact that everything is changing. As Mustaq said, with or without us. And therefore, so should we. And how we manage those changes that's the focus. Now, Middle East is changing fast. That's a given. We all know that. Politically, do I need to say anything? Lot has happened in the last year and a half. Leadership changes, involvement of youth, dramatic events, quick events, events that will be remembered by generations to come. And it has a lot of historical impact and consequences. Economic. Although we had a recession, 2008, mid-2008, it has affected the rest of the world. It has affected Middle East too, but not as much. It has, in some ways, bucked the trend. Just to give you an idea, the economy of Saudi Arabia alone in the last 5 years has doubled. I came to Abu Dhabi 3 years ago, and today there are telltale signs of how economy is growing. social, lots and lots of it is happening as far as social aspects are concerned. When I said economy, it's a paradox. Economy has doubled, for example, in Saudi Arabia's case, and yet unemployment has also gone up. And you'd have to think if economy grows, there'll be more jobs. But figures and statistics show unemployment has gone up. And that basically shows there is some structural challenges. Some things are happening out there. Jobs are there. One statistics that we did tells us that for every 7 new jobs created in the region, only 2 of them are taken up by locals. So 71% is gone to expats, 29% is taken by the locals. In other words, jobs are there. It's not taken up. So there's something to look forward. Population is growing and growing at an alarming rate. I guess because a lot of our data we have to be prepared, it's kind of Saudi Arabia focused. Population of Saudi Arabia alone today is 28 million, including 7 million expats. But in the next 13 years, by 2025, it will reach 40 million people. And that's a lot. And it's a very young population. Even today, 60% of the population is below 30 years of age. And by 2025, it will be 67%. Overwhelmingly large. We are talking about generations, so Generation Y and Generation Z will be the workforce. 8 million graduates will be there in the market by 2025. 8 million. And government will be able to absorb only 1 million of them. 7 million will have to go out in the private sector for jobs. So in other words, lots of things are happening in social aspects. Generation C, as we heard our Senior Vice President Amin Nasir talk about it. Connected generation. Quick, fast. They're not looking for lifetime employment. Looking for what can offer what. Who can offer what. Technological has linked with the demographics. Now, we embrace technology easily. One of the highest penetration of social media in the Middle East. Generation C, connected generation. So it's an enabler. It's not really an issue, it's an enabler. Very widely accepted. We embrace technology very easily. And therefore, with all of these reasons, the emphasis is, and as we showed in the cartoon, status quo is not an option. Not at all. So how do we go about then making a change? This is a very busy slide. Let me say, you can have any strategy. There are very structured methodologies out there, or very informal approach to change management. As long as you can communicate it effectively, it will have some value. But no strategy will succeed if you can't communicate it in a manner, way, shape, or form that connects with your strategy. Couple of things in terms of strategy. You got to do your groundwork very, very deeply. Spend as much time as you can and investigate what is it that you're trying to change, who will embrace this change, who is it meant for, and how will they adapt it. Of course, you got to localize it and always be prepared for alternatives and options. If this doesn't work, what else? When it comes to communication, let me give you an example. A couple of years ago, we finished a big project in Saudi Aramco. And as part of the final briefing, we went to a business line, and the audience was a vice president and all his direct reports. High-end, high visibility people. We presented a project status update, all went hunky-dory. Once the presentation finished, there was social intermingling. One gentleman from the crowd came up to us and said, whilst all of this is good, you are celebrating the success of your project, let me tell you this, that I logged 2 or 3 issues 3 months ago, and they are still unresolved. And when he said that to me, my natural reaction was, I said, oh, really? Wow. And then I went further. I said, I can't believe it. I cannot believe that it's not. So as I was continuing, he interrupted me after 3 words, I cannot believe. And he went into fits. He said, are you telling me I'm lying? Am I a liar? And he made a big fuss out of this. And I said, hang on, please wait, let me finish my sentence. All I'm saying is, I cannot believe that it has not been resolved in the last 3 months. And he forgot the last part. First 3 words meant a lot to him. And believe me, it took an awful lot of effort to make him understand. So the message is, choice of words, the context in which they are spoken, it may mean different thing to different people. Certain phrases we take for granted may have completely different meaning. So it's important we keep an eye on this. When I say integrate, change management cannot happen in isolation. David showed a lot of slides in the bigger context of HR. The integration between the environment we operate in, society we work in, nation at large. So we have to look at all of those factors and integrate them into any change management strategy we may adopt. And of course, as a good practice, you continue to monitor those interventions. As I said, 18 months have taught us a lot. Things change fast and very fast. So what works today may not work 6 months down the track. So keep an eye on what works, what doesn't work. Continue to update. So that's about how of change management. Let's talk about what to change. So let me change the speaker first and bring Mushtaq Rahman to talk about what to change.
Thank you, Dave. I hope you're getting used to our double act here. We have different styles, but we complement each other. So I think we work as a team.
Part of the change.
Part of the change, exactly. Okay, so let's talk about what to change. We know how to change. We have methodologies out there. We're not here to educate you on that. And these are some of the things, of course, we work on. We say vision, your mission, your values of your company, your technology. Of course, that often has to be changed to enable you to what you want to do. Quickly, efficiently, your structure, your organization structure, the people, as well as your infrastructure. Your processes, very important. We need to look at our processes and keep them alive and fluid, change them as often as you need to deliver what you're trying to achieve. And of course, your policies which drive everything, your governing policies. But we're not going to talk about this today, because to me, the most important areas are your people and your culture. Now, why do I say that? Because if you get that right, if you get your people to be aligned with what you're trying to achieve, with your values and with your beliefs, if your culture is not the blame culture, not the culture that says, okay, everything's okay, we're fine, be complacent. How can you take it to the next level where your culture is, where it's a brand culture? Brand culture, we heard yesterday about branding employees, branding your products, branding your company. So how can you take it to the brand culture and take it beyond that to make it the leadership culture where you have leaders all the way in your organization, not just at the top? But how do you do that change? See, we often focus on our environment. We have big visions. Where do I want to be? I want to go from Middle East to Far East to the West, to US, to UK, wherever. When do I want to do it by? I have my 5-year plans. I have my 10 years plan. By the end of 10 years, I'll be the biggest company in the world. Who do I want to partner with? Some big companies. I have some partners in mind. Then, of course, we make our plans. We know what we want to do, what we want to achieve. And if we have got the skills, we bring the skills, right? You bring your talent, you hire, you go out and offer the best money to the people and bring them here. So now you know what you want to do, you know where you want to be, you have your capabilities, you have your people. But that's just part of it. Can I just say that's just part of the change? Because what start to make the difference is your values and your beliefs of your people. What do they believe about themselves? What do they believe about your company? What are the stories they're telling each other? How do they identify with your company? What do they tell each other in the coffee room or in the lunch dining hall? What do they tell each other outside? What is the Generation C saying to each other on the internet when they talk about your company, who they work for? And do they feel that they're part of something bigger? Do they feel that they align, their goals and values are aligned with the company's? Do they feel that they can achieve their purpose in life through this company? Is this company a family? Is it more than just profits? Is it about something bigger? So if I were to draw a line, your bottom up is much slower, your top down is very quick. If I were to draw a line, that yellow line there, everything above that is your why. Everything below is how, what, when. If you sort your why, your what, when, where will come very easily. You need that alignment. And just to put it in a different way, your culture, your values, your beliefs, your mindset, the mindset of your employees, where are they? Are they aligned? Are they ready for the change? Once you have that, by all means, work on your processes. You need them. I'm not belittling any of that. But they are your enablers, your technology, your competencies when you hire the right people, and your structure. All of that will help you to achieve, provided you sort out your why, you have the right mindset, right values, right beliefs. And if that doesn't happen, that's for you, Faisal, there. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. So unless you align your culture with what you're trying to achieve, it's going to eat it for every day. I hope you did not have this for breakfast today. Breakfast is good here, right? In the hotel. They mentioned Generation C, the connected generation, the one that talk to each other. And they rather live on the, well, they spend a lot of time on the cyberspace, in the cyber world, as opposed to real world. And that's why they're talking to each other about your company. So the talent that you're fighting for, the talent that you're trying to hire, which is going to enable you to get to the next level, guess what? That talent is also looking at that. They're looking at these websites. They're reading the insider's view of your company. And that's when they will decide whether they want to come and work for you or not. Another website, again, the same thing. People are talking. This is three-way communication. No longer is top-down or even bottom-up. They're talking internally, outside, everywhere. So no longer we can hide behind our corporate values that we put on the wall on a website. Your real values are here, and they're telling each other. I looked at some companies to see what are the great companies who have great cultures. Google is one of them, Zappos, familiar names, Boston Consulting Group, etc. Last month I was in USA, I went to San Francisco, and my cousin works for Google. And I made a point, I was going to ask him, I said, what culture do you have? How do things work in Google? Because I know how things work in my company, I work in the region. And he said, Mushtaq, he said, look, we have our MBAs. They do fancy presentations, they have all the initiatives. But when you talk about teams, whenever we have challenges, we get together and there's only one thing in everybody's mind. How can we solve these problems? How can we do it? And we can do it. Failure is not crossing their head. Sometimes they do fail, but that's not the mindset. That's the mindset we need. Teamwork. How can we get together, work together, not as an individual, not worrying about who gets the credit. Work as a team. You will make mistakes. We allow for mistakes so long as you learn from it. When you have that culture, ladies and gentlemen, that makes a change. And there's no fluke, no surprise that some of the best ideas that came, they came from US. If you look at Facebook, Google, iPhone, Apple, they're all there. Something for us to recognize, admit, and learn from. This is Zappos. Again, I was in Las Vegas and the CEO spoke, Tony Hsieh, he spoke there. And look at their culture. These guys are #1 in customer service. They have their 1-800 number on every single page. While most companies don't like people to call them, they think it's a waste of time or they don't make any money there. Zappos, on the other hand, want people to call them. But that's not their strength. Their #1 focus is their culture. Because they believe to fix their culture, everything else will be fixed. The marketing, their HR, their accounting, all fall in place. Because they're the right people, with the right mindset, doing the right things. And living as a family, and you can see how much fun they're having together as a company. is the family of Zappos. And that's Tony Hsieh, the CEO of the firm. And there's one thing I learned about Zappos. Every employee, regardless of whether he's a lawyer or an accountant, they all go through the same training, they all man the phones, and at the end of the day, after a week, they offer them what they call the offer, and what I call the bribe. You know how hard it is to hire people. You go through such efforts to hire people, and once you hire them, they actually want them to leave. And they give them a bonus of $1,000, and I think it's gone up to $2,000 now. They keep increasing it. And there are a lot of jobs out there for people working on the help desk. There's big attrition rate anyway.
You have 1 minute left. Can you try to wrap it up?
Thank you. Okay, so they offer them the money to leave because the ones who do stay, then they are yours forever. Look at the Zappos guys. These are their values that everybody believes in. You ask any employee in the company, they have got their toes. They will tell you, these are our values. That's what we do. Change, being open-minded, all about growth, relationships, family. Be passionate, be humble. So now they've taken it to the next level. They're teaching other people how to do it, how to deliver happiness to your workplace. And it started as a book, then it became a bus tour, and now it is a movement. This is their website. They have a community of people teaching each other how to be happy, how to have the right culture in your organization. And that's their roadmap. They have everything planned out. There's a whole journey. If you have any questions, later on I'll share all these with you. And at this point, I'll hand over to Mohammed. There you go.
Yeah, I think we're at the very last slide of our presentation. What we have done today is build a case for why change management is needed, how to change it, what exactly to change. Mushtaq shared enough details with you. Culture is the key. That's what we believe. If it's not built into your strategy, it's not going to succeed. And when change is managed, potentials are unlocked, and you can take your organization to any growth, any highest possible level. We leave you with one big takeaway note, and that's a quote from the Louis Gerstner, the CEO of IBM, former CEO. And he said, the thing I've learned at IBM is that culture is everything. Culture is everything. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we conclude our presentation. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have to be like a harsh taskmaster. So we started with a consultant, we move on with 2 practitioners, and like all good things, we always get an academic to wrap it up. So the last